Chapter 51. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Kindness is tough. Yi Qiu was still sitting on the well-made chairs, finding them comfortable even without pants. Across from him, the blue-silver king looked worn, the pale golden blue-silver grass before him noticeably thinner. Ahem. You look like you've lost some weight. Yi Qiu pointed and gestured. Just the after-effects of forcing the blue-silver domain to its highest form. But it was worth it for my emperor. The blue-silver king's voice was weak but respectful. Got it. Yi Qiu understood, forcing the domain was rough, but luckily blue-silver grass was durable. My emperor. Don't worry about your second spirit ring, I've already taken care of it. Really? Awesome. Yi Qiu knew where the spirit ring came from. In the original story, Tang San's blue-silver overlord spear 5th spirit ability came from the blue-silver forest, a spirit ring that gets better with level ups. Thanks a bunch. You're welcome, it's our civic duty. By the way, how did I become your emperor? We originally planned to have our emperor just absorb you, but she just dedicated herself and her blood to you directly. After a friendly chat with the blue-silver king, Yi Qiu finally understood what was going on. He was now the source of the blue-silver emperor. The blue-silver emperor was rooted in his heart, bound to him, essentially one and the same. She used Yi Qiu's soul power to regain her strength, and Yi Qiu shared everything, her bloodline and the blue-silver domain. All in all, Yi Qiu hit the jackpot. The blue-silver emperor was like a physical, even conscious, martial soul. Yi Qiu could use her soul skills, and she could show up and act independently. This reminded Yi Qiu of Yu Xiaojiang's fart of a Luo Sanpao Wuhuan, but it was different. The blue-silver emperor was like a soul beast, generating her own spirit ring, and any damage she took wouldn't affect Yi Qiu. If she died, she'd just revive in Yi Qiu's body, unless a powerful spiritual attack wiped her soul out. If Yi Qiu died, she died. If she died, Yi Qiu was fine. I don't know what you said to her, but this is basically a life-or-death deal. The blue-silver king sounded helpless. I don't know. Hee. Yi Qiu scratched his head. He couldn't exactly say his eyes were a little, suggestively effective, could he? Your soul power is yours, but please treat my emperor well and help her get back to her prime. Don't worry about it, she powers me up too. Yi Qiu nodded, figuring he wouldn't be stingy with his own power. Will she remember stuff? Yi Qiu was more concerned about this. Remember? Why would she? She's a completely new emperor. The old consciousness is completely gone. Hearing that, Yi Qiu finally felt relieved. This was his brand new blue-silver king, a different kind of martial soul he could use without reservation. Thanks. Alright, get some rest, and I'll get you that second soul ring tomorrow. That the blue-silver king was about to disappear into the ground when Yi Qiu awkwardly stopped him. Do you have any clothes around here? No. Poof, the blue-silver king was gone. Yi Qiu looked around, clutching his chest, feeling eyes on him. He grabbed some clothes from his space and ripped them open, wrapping himself up haphazardly so he wouldn't be naked. Night came, the sky filled with stars. On the ground, the blue-silver grass glowed, mirroring the stars. Yi Qiu sat cross-legged, practicing hard. He felt soul power flowing through his right leg bone, then being absorbed by the blue-silver emperor. He could control that flow if he wanted after a while. Ha! Yi Qiu stopped, lying on the ground, looking at the sky. The stars seemed arranged like a rabbit, with a cat nearby. Brother, a sweet voice interrupted him. His chest felt tight, and a cute little girl was on his chest, immediately gnawing on his face. Giggle, she giggled, seeing Yi Qiu wiping off her saliva. Brother looks way better. That she held Yi Qiu's face, not wanting to let go. Thanks to you. Yi Qiu lifted her up. Glad my brother's not mad. Brother's level dropped a lot, she pouted, looking cute. It's okay. I've got such a cute sister, right? Yi Qiu thought having such a cute sister was great. Yi Qiu sat up, putting her on the ground. What's your name? I can't keep calling you Blue Silver Emperor, can I? I don't have a name yet. As soon as Qiu let go, she got into his arms. Brother, help me pick one. Huh? Qiu stroked his chin. He wasn't great at naming stuff, but with Ain in mind, Xiaolan sounded good. How about Xiaolan? Okay, I'm Xiaolan now. Xiaolan happily grabbed Qiu's head. It's decided. Qiu rubbed her head. They looked like siblings, same blue hair, blue eyes, fair skin, but she looked a lot younger. Xiaolan barely reached Qiu's knees, pulling at the fabric on Qiu's body. She said, brother's clothes are ugly, he looks better without them. Qiu blushed, which was easy to see after his skin turned white. Xiaolan put her small hand on Qiu's forehead, calming his mood. She can keep me calm in the future. Qiu thought, but what Xiaolan said next made him even more embarrassed. Brother, don't be shy, I wiped off the blood on you. You really are my good sister. Of course, Xiaolan loves her brother the most. Hee. Qiu smiled, awkwardly. Brother, wanna train? Try using the blue-silver domain to speed it up. There's tons of blue-silver grass here, they'll help. Yawn. Xiaolan yawned, then turned into light, disappearing into Qiu's arms. Bad battery life. Qiu hadn't expected her to disappear so soon. He trained as Xiaolan said, sitting cross-legged, the blue-silver domain spreading around him. The first stage of the blue-silver domain could camouflage, it could hide the spirit ring, changing its color so people couldn't see it. Maybe others wouldn't care, but Qiu was happy. It suited him since his soul ring was so noticeable. Calming down, Qiu started training, and it was different. The blue-silver grass seemed to have a network, speeding up his soul power because there was so much blue-silver grass. The domain was effective, boosting his training speed by over 2.5 times. End of this chapter. Chapter 52. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The sun was just peeking over the horizon, painting the sky with fading purples. Qiu sighed, stretching out on the soft blue-silver grass after his training. It was more comfortable than any bed. Standing up, he stretched again, noticing how much the blue-silver domain enhanced his cultivation. He took a few casual steps, still adjusting to his height. Already over 5.5 feet tall at just 9 years old, his face still held a trace of childishness. My lord, would you like something to eat? Qiu was a little startled by the blue-silver king's sudden appearance. A hazy, human-like figure floated before him, its features indistinct. A tiny woven table sat in front of it, laden with wild berries and dew, carefully gathered by the blue-silver grass. Thank you. Qiu didn't stand on ceremony. He plopped down and began to eat. The moment he bit into a berry, a burst of fragrance exploded in his mouth, and he felt a slight surge in his soul power. Xiaolan wants some too. A beam of light erupted, and a little girl materialized, scrambling onto the table to gnaw on a wild fruit. So yummy. Big brother, eat up. The blue-silver king drifted over, gently patting Xiaolan's head before turning his gaze to Qiu. Xiaolan. You chose the name? Yep. Qiu nodded. Hee. It suits her. So, what's the deal with your form? Qiu asked, curious. My main body needs to recover. This is essentially a spiritual projection. You'll be able to do it too once you've mastered the blue-silver domain. Got it, Qiu said, surprised by the domain's capabilities. He considered that at its final stage, the blue-silver domain could convert the vitality provided by the blue-silver grass into any form of energy, soul power, spiritual power. It wasn't shocking that the blue-silver king could do this after 8 years of cultivation. Brother, eat faster. Xiaolan jumped into Qiu's arms, stuffing a handful of wild grapes into his mouth. Qiu sat cross-legged in an open space, ready to begin absorbing the rings. Great Emperor. Please accept your subjects' gifts. That the blue-silver king's shout was echoed by countless voices, and countless strands of blue-silver grass poured their strength into him. Brilliant light bloomed from the blue ocean, and immense power surged into Yi Qiu's body, filling his limbs and bones without him even having to actively draw it in. After the transformation from the 2,000-year soul rings, and the physical enhancement from the right leg bone and blue-silver blood, Yi Qiu could easily handle 1,000-year soul rings. The blue and silver domain was unleashed, maximizing the absorption of the power being transferred. The purple ring from the anaconda materialized under him, followed by a white soul ring, white, yellow, gradually turning purple. 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 years. The blue-silver king stopped only when Yi Qiu frowned. Phew! He exhaled, finally relaxing his tense muscles. The second ring granted Yi Qiu the soul skills Yaya and Amaterasu. As for Susanoo, having the blood of the blue-silver emperor probably meant he wouldn't have to be a real man for just 3 seconds anymore. Well, at least it would extend it by a minute. The blue and silver domain enveloped the soul rings, gradually transforming the 2 purple rings into 2-century-old soul rings. Now my soul rings are actually presentable. Yi Qiu grinned, his handsome face radiating a gentle, noble aura. Wow, my brother is amazing. Boom. Yi Qiu scooped Xiaolan into his arms, wiping the juice from the corners of her mouth. Xiaolan hiccuped, patting her swollen belly, her blue eyes glistening with tears. I'm too full, Haha. He hadn't expected the blue-silver emperor to be such a little pig. Hey, is it okay for Xiaolan to eat this much? Yi Qiu asked the blue-silver king. Don't worry. She converts it all into energy, and once she reaches saturation, she can even transfer some of it back to you. Yi Qiu nodded, understanding that Xiaolan's growth didn't solely depend on absorbing his soul power. So, if I ever find the ice fire yin-yang well, I could give her some of those exotic herbs. She shouldn't be susceptible to poison, anyway. The blue-silver king's ethereal form flickered even more. You're about to leave, aren't you? He knew Yi Qiu wouldn't stay here. Yeah, I'm heading out now. Already? Then, safe travels, and remember to protect yourself. Slightly surprised, the blue-silver king raised a hand in a gesture of farewell. The blue-silver grass parted to create a wider path through the dense forest. Goodbye. An invisible vortex appeared, and the emerald-eyed cloud-winged tiger materialized before Yi Qiu. He hoisted Xiaolan up onto its back and climbed on behind her. Goodbye. The blue-silver forest will always welcome you. The blue-silver king's voice echoed, ethereal as always. At Yi Qiu's signal, the tiger trotted toward the exit, with the blue-silver grass flanking them like honor guards. Goodbye, Sister Lanying. Xiaolan clutched Yi Qiu's neck and poked her head out, waving to the blue-silver king. Yi Qiu was a little surprised. Lanying, the blue-silver king's name, was actually pretty good. He really sucked at naming things. Reaching the end of the path, Yi Qiu turned and bowed to them. The aid they'd given him on this trip was invaluable. After his farewell, Yi Qiu turned and left without looking back. The blue-silver king's figure slowly dissipated, and a clear, melodious voice echoed in the blue-silver forest. I hope my choice is right, Yi Qiu. Don't let me down. The entrance to the blue-silver forest vanished, as if it had never been there. In the jungle, Yi Qiu cradled a doll-like girl, riding an emerald-eyed cloud-winged tiger towards the edge of the Star-Do Great Forest. Despite Yi Qiu's striking features, his clothes were torn and dirty. He looked like a beggar who'd kidnapped a little girl. Sighing, Yi Qiu activated his Sharingan's clairvoyance to search for some clothes, but saw no one. He only found a nest of ame monkeys. Though not very old, these monkeys had a fondness for snatching and collecting things from humans. Riding his tiger, Yi Qiu went straight to their lair, rummaged around, and found some wearable clothes. He washed them and put them on, finally transforming from naked to ragged. As they approached a human town, Yi Qiu teleported the emerald-eyed cloud-winged tiger into his Shenwei space, while Xiaolan promptly fell back asleep, and this time, she slept for quite a while. a full 2 days. As Yi Qiu leaped through the forest, he suddenly heard her gleeful voice. Brother! Brother! Xiaolan's first soul ring has formed. Yi Qiu stopped, feeling a surge of soul power, and Xiaolan materialized before him. Before he could get a good look at her, she jumped into his arms like a baby bird returning to its nest. He hefted the little girl in his arms. You've grown so much. She had originally been knee-high, but now reached his waist. Yeah, Xiaolan got a lot taller. I must be 6 years old now. Her increased strength was speeding up her growth. Understanding this, Yi Qiu set her down and ruffled her hair. Show me what your first soul skill is. My first soul skill is called, Endless Life. She twirled in a circle, and a yellow soul ring appeared beneath her feet. She extended her hands towards the ground, and a touch of green appeared, reviving shrubs that were on the verge of death. A healing spirit ability? I thought it would be something like entanglement. Yi Qiu stroked his chin, unconsciously thinking of Tang San's first spirit ability. Xiaolan rolled her eyes. What nonsense are you talking about? Xiaolan can master something that's simple with just a few tries. Why would I need a soul skill for that? Haha. You're right, Xiaolan is much smarter. Yi Qiu knelt down and tapped her nose. It seemed that Yu Xiaojiang only planned for Tang San's first soul skill to be poisonous, and didn't have much else to offer. The theory of martial spirit mimicry, claiming that plants can also absorb spirit beasts that aren't plants, is nonsense. Weapons and martial souls can absorb anything, and I don't see anyone going to weapon shops to find soul rings. Plants can be more noble. His eyes swept over the ground. The healing soul skill was potent, converting soul power into vitality. As long as someone didn't lose a limb, healing wouldn't be a problem. Moreover, Yi Qiu realized that Xiaolan's appearance drained some of his soul power, but when she used her soul skills, she seemed to be self-sufficient. She was also thrilled by Yi Qiu's praise. Of course Xiaolan is smart. And as long as Xiaolan is inside my brother's body, my brother can use it too. Wabu. After a moment of disagreement, she smeared her saliva on Yi Qiu's face again. Chapter 53 Heaven Do Imperial City. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiaolan, no poofing in and out of places where people are. You'll be grounded if you do that again. Okay, bro. I promise to be good. Heaven Do Imperial City. Right at the city gates, a boy in a blue outfit showed up with a little girl. He had these sharp, sword-like eyebrows and eyes that twinkled like stars. His blue eyes just screamed noble. The girl was all smiles and sweet as pie, rocking a blue dress with gold trim. She also had these big, curious blue eyes, like she was checking out everything for the first time. Bro, your face is all red. You feeling okay? I'm fine. Yi Qiu tried to ignore all the looks he was getting. The blue-silver emperor blood was seriously no joke. It was like he'd had a makeover. Yi Qiu felt like he was walking around with a giant neon sign on his head. He remembered the way those ladies in the clothes shop had stared at him. It gave him the creeps. If he ended up in a crowded place, some girl might even try to jump him. Come on, let's find a place to crash first. He took her tiny hand, ducked his head a bit, and headed into the city. It had taken them forever to get here from the Star Do Great Forest, but while they were traveling, his soul power had jumped to level 22. Ever since Xiaolan had gotten her first soul ring, she could hang out outside longer. The weird thing was, Yi Qiu's soul power wasn't draining. He figured she was just photosynthesizing like crazy and chowing down at every meal. Yi Qiu was planning to chill here for a bit, show her the real world, and then hit up the Sunset Forest to find the Eye of Ice and Fire. Wow, that's a cool house. It's so tall. So many people. Xiaolan, holding Yi Qiu's hand, gawked at the busy city, totally amazed. Bro. I want one of those. That she was pointing at a little shop selling candied hawthorns. The rock sugar coating made them super bright red. Total kid bait. You are such a little piggy. He bopped her on the head and led her over. 2, please. Can't I just have one? Nope, I already licked it. Fine. Here's your change, have a good one. Yi Qiu watched Xiaolan shove 2 skewers in her mouth at once and instantly regretted his decision. First day in the city, and he's already getting ripped off. A gold coin could feed a family of 3 for a month, and this thing cost a whole silver coin. Big city prices were insane, and he didn't even have much cash. He was starting to worry about paying for a hotel. Xiaolan must have noticed him staring, because she stopped munching and figured he wanted one. She held one out to him. Humph. You're a big greedy cat. Hee hee. Yi Qiu just grabbed it, saw the drool, pulled the candied hawthorn off, and popped it back in her mouth. You don't think I'm gross? She pouted. Nah, bro wants you to eat more. He took a bite of his own and was about to pull her toward the hotel. Gotta check prices first. I wanna walk by myself. Suit yourself, but watch where you're going. Yi Qiu swallowed his candied hawthorn, keeping an eye on Xiaolan. Yi Qiu looked around too, checking out the sights of the most happening city in the world. As they passed an alley, he saw a bunch of people who looked like beggars, scruffy, dirty, and ragged. Yi Qiu stopped. Guess there are slums even in the capital. Rich folks living large, while the poor freeze to death. Ouch. While Yi Qiu had been spacing out, Xiaolan got hurt up ahead and some loudmouth was yelling. You little brat. Where'd you come from? I'll get you kicked out of the city. Wow. Look at this trash all dressed up like they're somebody. He reached out for Xiaolan's face. You messed up my clothes, you pay me. Ha. Hey. Get away. My candied hawthorn. Smack, Xiaolan slapped his hand away. What's going on? Yi Qiu pushed through the crowd and hurried forward. Xiaolan was on the ground, her candied hawthorn crushed, tears welling up in her eyes. He felt terrible. You lowlife. How dare you hit me? Some rich kid in a fancy outfit was about to smack Xiaolan. Snap, Yi Qiu grabbed his wrist, eyes blazing. Bro. Xiaolan called out, scrambling up behind him, grabbing his clothes. The rich kid's goons stepped toward Yi Qiu. Let our young master go, you jerk. You better let me go. You know who I am. Yi Qiu looked at him, cold as ice. Who? I'm Sabuchu, son of Earl Sadio. Ow, my hand's gonna break. Hearing the guy's name, Yi Qiu's hand tightened like a vice. Can't breathe. You're gonna suffocate. You little punk. Hey. My hand. He always hated when people made fun of his name. It was a sign of status, and some nobody was mocking him. Hey, back off, or you'll regret it. One of the guards pulled out his sword, and 4 soul rings, yellow, yellow, purple, purple, appeared. He was ready for a fight. The Earl's kid? This could be a problem. The blood in Yi Qiu's eyes flashed. Just when Yi Qiu was about to use Sharingan to control the dude, a sweet voice chimed in. Sabuchu, are you picking on people again? It was a woman in a pale yellow dress, slim as could be, wearing a veil so you couldn't see her face. Her eyes were calm. No, that's not it. I'm just. Seeing her, Sabuchu seemed flustered, ashamed, and didn't dare look at her. Looks like you messed with the wrong person. The woman's voice made him drop his head. Yi Qiu watched, staying alert. Can you let him go? I can guarantee your safety. Lingling, I can handle this myself. Sabuchu tried to argue, but she cut him off with a look. I told you, call me Yi Lingling. Her voice was a little frosty. Yi Lingling. The 9-heart begonia chick from the royal fighting team. What a coincidence. Yi Qiu never expected his savior to be Yi Lingling, the girl born with a death sentence. Okay, Lingling. Guys, put away your martial souls, you're scaring the little girl. Sabuchu acted like he hadn't heard her and started calling out to his crew. Yi Lingling just raised an eyebrow. Hey, did you hear Lingling? Let him go. Ow. Ow. Yi Qiu shoved him away before he could finish talking. He bowed to Yi Lingling. Thanks, miss. It's nothing. I'm just helping her out. Yi Lingling avoided his eyes, replying casually. Me too, me too. Thank you, sis. Xiaolan waved, popping out from behind Yi Qiu, copying his bow. Yi Lingling smiled, seeing this. Sabuchu, who'd just been let go, forgot about his pain and tried to butter Yi Lingling up. He nodded at Yi Qiu and the kids, ignored Sabuchu, and left. The rich kid ran after her, trying to get in her good graces. Lingling. Lingling. Wait up. What are you doing? I was good, right? If you marry me, I promise. Watching them leave, Yi Qiu shook his head. Looks like nobles have their share of simps. He didn't know the guy's name, so he wouldn't embarrass the Sadio family. Suddenly, Yi Qiu's eyes narrowed. He saw the hate in Sabuchu's eyes as he turned back. Looks like I need to be careful. If he comes at us, I'll take him out. Chapter 54. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After the show, the crowd thinned out. Yi Qiu knelt down, gently wiping away the tears from Xiaolan's eyes with his thumb. You okay? I'm fine, but my candied hawthorns are gone, she pouted, still sad about the treat that had fallen. I'll buy you more. Then I want two. Her eyes lit up. You got it. This time, Yi Qiu wasn't taking any chances. He scooped her up in his arms. Yay! You're the best. The sticky sweetness of the candy brushed against his lips, making him smile down at her. She just giggled back. Nearby, as Yi Qiu and the others were leaving, a fancy carriage rolled past. It was Prince Xueqing's personal ride. He'd just wrapped up a meeting with his teacher, Ning Fengji of the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School. Inside, Xueqing, who was dozing, suddenly frowned. He'd felt a strange pull on his martial soul, like something was calling to it. He opened the curtains and peered into the crowd. See what's going on over there. His men immediately went to investigate. Your Highness, apparently the son of Earl Sadio's family got into it with some commoners. The attendant reported. Just as the crowd was dispersing, Xueqing frowned. The feeling had faded. Maybe he was imagining things. He glanced in that direction, catching sight of the back of a blue-haired kid holding a little girl. Never mind. Let's head back to the palace. He rubbed his temples, telling his driver to move on. He was probably just tired. Yi Qiu, heading the same way as the carriage, glanced back. When he'd briefly activated his Sharingan earlier, he felt a strange excitement, almost like it was looking around. But there wasn't anything obvious. What are you looking at? Let's go get my candied hawthorns. All right. Let's go. With his little sister urging him on, Yi Qiu shrugged off his unease and headed for the candy shop. After getting 2 more bunches of candied hawthorns, Yi Qiu and Xiaolan started looking for a place to crash for the night. Seeing the 3 gold soul coins left in his bag, he figured he'd have to spend the night in his Shenwei space again. Hey! What's wrong? Xiaolan looked up at him. Nothing. Whoa! A huge, domed building loomed into view. It had to be over 500 meters across, with a gold dome that gleamed in the sunlight. The Tiando auction house. How did I forget? He smacked his forehead. He still had that 4,000-year-old soul bone from the emerald-eyed cloud-winged tiger in his Shenwei space. He could easily get millions of gold soul coins for that thing. Let's go. We're hitting the auction house. He grabbed her hand and practically dragged her along. What's an auction house? Xiaolan's little legs struggled to keep up. She was jogging, candied hawthorn still in hand. It's where you sell stuff. Once I sell something, I'll buy you all sorts of treats. Yay! But, can you slow down? I'm tired. Whoops. Yi Qiu stopped, realizing she was red-faced and out of breath. Sorry, my bad. He picked her up again. At the auction house, he was impressed by the grand entrance. In a city like this, you'd have to be rolling in it to buy such a massive piece of land, not to mention the marble door frames inlaid with gemstones. It's so pretty. Xiaolan loved anything shiny. She couldn't even focus on her candied hawthorn. Those girls at the door are pretty too, that he looked where she was pointing. There were 4 young women greeting guests at the door. They were tall, with good-looking faces and graceful figures, wearing full-length white dresses with silver threads. They were all smiles. Yi Qiu stood nearby with Xiaolan. Her comment had been loud enough for them to hear. She has a sweet tongue, but not everyone can get in here. The woman closest to him smiled, looking pleased. What does it take to get inside? Yi Qiu asked politely. She finally got a good look at him and noticed how handsome he was, with an extraordinary air about him. She blushed slightly and bowed slightly. Sir, there are 2 ways. First, you can get bidding qualification. The level depends on how much you're worth. The minimum is 10,000 gold soul coins in assets. She glanced up at him. The second is if you submit an item for appraisal. If our appraiser values it at over 10,000 gold soul coins, you're eligible to participate. If the auction is successful, we'll take a small cut as a handling fee. Got it. Could I speak to an appraiser? I have something I'd like to sell. Of course. Come with me. She gestured, sashaying down the hall as Yi Qiu followed with Xiaolan. The other girls couldn't help but steal glances at him. They're checking you out. She whispered loudly enough for everyone to hear. The women lowered their heads, embarrassed, and Yi Qiu was a bit mortified, too. They're looking at you. You're cute. He pinched her cheek, nodding apologetically to the women. Look. Their faces are all red. Yi Qiu covered her mouth, glaring at her, not wanting her to say anything more. The girl led them down a long corridor. Dragons and phoenixes were carved into the marble walls, and there were reliefs of various spirit beasts. Every few steps, there was a glass case filled with rare treasures. Heh, the girl giggled. She's a character. She's right, you're pretty too. But doesn't your butt hurt from walking like that all day? The girl froze, blushing. She lost her rhythm and looked awkward. Oops. Ha. Kids say the darndest things. Yi Qiu chuckled, patting Xiaolan on the head. If you keep talking like that, I'm selling you. No. I won't say anything else. She bit her lip, hugging his neck. Yi Qiu was led into a hall with a round table. Seated around it were 7 old men, wearing glasses, their eyes sharp. What is it you're looking to auction? The oldest man gestured for Yi Qiu to sit. Yi Qiu produced a brocade box. This is a head soul bone, from a 4,000-year-old emerald-eyed cloud-winged tiger. He set the box on the table and pushed it toward them. Soul bones. They stood up. Soul bones were rare. The leader opened the box carefully. Green light washed over his face. Wow. It's really a soul bone. A valuable head bone. Of the 6 spirit bones, the torso and skull were the rarest. He picked it up, examining it closely. Well? Yi Qiu asked as they set it down. Sir. VIP. We're suggesting a starting bid of 1,000,000 gold soul coins. How does that sound? The appraiser bowed slightly, looking for his opinion. 1,000,000. Xiaolan shook his head. Sounds good to me. Yi Qiu was a little flustered by the amount of money. Great. Take this young man to the red VIP area. Yes, sir. Please come with me. I'll take you through the process. The girl who led Yi Qiu was still the same one. She hadn't expected the young man she brought in to be so rich. Her commission this month was going to be huge. Chapter 55 Rookie. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The procedures were simple, just applying for a gold soul coin savings card. They'd already fronted 100 million gold soul coins on the card. The balance would be settled after the auction. Auctions ran all day, but the treasure market only happened for an hour each night. Qiu's head spirit bone definitely qualified as treasure. With plenty of daylight left, Qiu got his savings card and VIP badge and was shown to the waiting room. The girl who escorted him was already gone. Ooh! Xiaolan dove into the fruit as soon as she saw it, her eyes crinkling into little crescents. So yummy! Bro, you gotta try some. Easy does it. Don't stuff yourself, Qiu said, exasperated. She ate so much, but her soul power never seemed to budge. Guess being out and about burned a ton of energy. Shaking his head, he settled in to wait for nightfall. Knock, knock. Someone rapped on the door. Sir, it's time. A girl's voice called. Xiaolan, let's go. Coming. Qiu's forehead furrowed as he watched her. Seriously? You've already had, like, 5 helpings. Still not enough. Xiaolan was clutching the fruit plate, piled high. Gotta take it to eat later. What if I get hungry? Qiu's eyes twitched. Wasn't she just hiccuping? Alright, let's go. What else could he do? If he didn't spoil her, who would? This way, please. The guide was a pro. She didn't even blink at Xiaolan waddling along with a mountain of fruit. Every 10 steps, she stopped and pointed the way again. Xiaolan trailed after her, and when they reached the inner area entrance, the guide bowed out. Qiu was sure he saw her covering her mouth to stifle a giggle as she turned away. He knelt down, wiping the juice off Xiaolan's face, and fastened the mask the auction house provided. No talking nonsense in there, got it? Yep, gulp, gulp. She nodded enthusiastically, cramming more fruit into her mouth. Sighing, Qiu put on his own mask, pinned the red VIP badge to his chest, and led Xiaolan inside. The moment he stepped into the infield, Qiu was nearly blinded. The waiters were all women, and they were even hotter than the escorts outside, all in white. The waiters wore hip-hugging miniskirts, baring their arms. The tops were cut low, and the skirts barely skimmed their thighs. Their long, white legs flashed with every step. Qiu, being a decent guy, didn't know where to look. It was hard not to stare, but he was still a normal guy. This was a test of his willpower. Sir, the instant Qiu entered, a hot waiter hurried over, all smiles and enthusiasm. She grabbed his arm. The red VIP area is this way. Please, follow me. She leaned close, her breath warm on his ear, her voice a sultry purr. Oh, okay. Feeling the pressure on his arm, Qiu stumbled over his words. Bro, wait up. Xiaolan called, chasing after them with her fruit plate. The auction house resembled the Roman Colosseum, with the auction stage in the center. Closest to the stage was the red VIP area, then black, purple, yellow, and white. The red section was the smallest, representing millions in wealth. The white section was the largest, reserved for items with a starting bid of just 1,000 gold soul coins. The sexy waiter led Qiu to his seat, and after he was seated, she leaned in, flashing a glimpse of skin. Young master, let me know if you need anything. Anything at all. No, I'm good, Qiu stammered, blushing and waving his hands. The woman sauntered off with a smile. She hadn't seen such a shy guy in ages. Bro, why were you walking so fast? I thought you left me. Xiaolan finally caught up. No way. That lady was kinda pulling me, Qiu said, still flushed. Luckily, his mask hid half his face. Xiaolan handed him the fruit plate, then plopped down in his lap. I don't care. I want my brother to feed me. Sure thing. Qiu agreed, gently wiping sweat from her forehead. Haha. Can't handle it. What a newbie. A snide voice cut through the air. the area around them was mostly empty, except for the seat next to Yi Qiu. He and Xiaolan turned to see who'd spoken. It was a young girl in a simple white dress that gave her a pristine look, blue eyes, brown hair, smooth skin, a delicate face, and an air of soft nobility. The words coming out of her mouth didn't match her look. She was sitting on the lap of a middle-aged man, who looked very polite. Strangely, neither of them wore masks or VIP badges. Xiaolan glared at the girl, swallowed her mouthful of fruit. Hey! My brother is not a newbie. Oh, he's an old hand then. The girl was teasing, acting like she'd found a fun new toy. Nope. My brother's not a bird. Isn't he? Doesn't look like it. Bro, where would it be? Ugh. Yi Qiu quickly covered Xiaolan's mouth, staring at the girl in surprise. Were all city girls like this? She seemed so refined, but the things she was saying were so inappropriate. What are you staring at? Alright. Next time, I won't bring you outside if you're gonna act like that. Seeing that his daughter was about to say something really dumb, the middle-aged man cut her off, patting her head. Okay, Dad. Humph. The girl huffed, then shot Yi Qiu another look, making a face. The middle-aged man smiled indulgently at his daughter. He turned to Yi Qiu and nodded, his voice gentle and soothing. I'm sorry, young man. My daughter can be a bit mischievous. No problem, Yi Qiu said. It was just a little spat. A flicker of surprise crossed the middle-aged man's face. He had a unique soul skill that allowed him to roughly gauge someone's soul power, but he couldn't sense anything from the siblings next to him. Ugh. Dad, why are you talking about me? I'm not talking to you. His daughter's whine interrupted his thoughts. He chuckled. Fine. Whatever you want, just buy it. Yi Qiu couldn't help but stare at the over-the-top words. You said it. Don't go back on your word. The girl gave him a sly look, caught Yi Qiu's gaze, and sneered. Bro, let's eat fruit and ignore that mean girl, Xiaolan said, turning Yi Qiu's face towards her and holding a piece of fruit to his mouth. She glared at the girl. You're the mean one. You little brat. Sitting on your dad's lap at your age, you're the kid. Humph. ×2. The two girls, one big and one small, glared at each other, then huffed and turned away. The middle-aged man caught Yi Qiu's eye and smiled politely. Yi Qiu took the fruit Xiaolan offered, pinching her cheek. My sister is the best. Chapter 56. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The auction was about to kick off. After a brief intro from the host, the first item was presented. It was a bracelet, looked a few years old, and still pulsed with a bit of soul power. Alright folks. This is a spatial soul tool, with a 1 cubic meter storage capacity. Bidding starts at 3,000 gold soul coins, *a soul tool, *. Yi Qiu glanced at Xiaolan in his arms, then shook his head. If something happened to him, he'd be back, but whatever he was carrying would get left behind, like dropping gear in a game. Someone else would just scoop it up. Big brother, is there any food for sale here? Xiaolan whispered in his ear, making him tingle. Not sure. If you see something you like, just let me know, okay? He playfully nudged her nose and wrapped his arms around her waist. Whatever, the girl next to him muttered, still full of disdain. Humph. Yi Qiu ignored her, but Xiaolan stuck her tongue out at the girl. Meanwhile, the soul tool sold for 10,000 gold soul coins. Small as it was, spatial tools were pretty rare. The auction was a real mixed bag, something for everyone. They were even dabbling in the slave trade, even though the two empires had banned it. Next up was a big knife crafted by Lu Gao's apprentice. It was impressive to look at, but a soul master's strength mostly came from their martial soul. Something that didn't help a soul master better channel their soul power, and martial soul wasn't worth much. Yi Qiu noticed the middle-aged guy beside him already mashing the price hike button. Heh. I'll just buy it for display, the man explained. Noticing Yi Qiu's curiosity, Yi Qiu nodded. Must be nice to be rich. Time passed, and the auction was halfway done. Alright everyone. This next item is guaranteed to grab your attention. The host's voice boomed across the room, amplified by some soul tool. Behold. The host gestured upwards, chains rattled above. A large, square iron cage descended, accompanied by the scent of flowers and falling petals. Qiu frowned, already guessing what was inside. As the cage lowered, the contents came into view. Inside were twin girls with vacant eyes, wearing skimpy outfits made of seashells. They had a pair of cat ears on their heads and two tails swaying behind them, one black and one white. They instinctively huddled together, their faces and bodies flushed. Asterisk thud, asterisk. The iron cage hit the floor in front of the host, who was now holding a long stick. Gentlemen, this pair of black and white cat-eared sisters is top tier. They've been thoroughly trained and are incredibly responsive. Guaranteed to give you the ultimate experience. They can even boost your confidence and help you ditch the pills. Whoa! Is it really that amazing? I get the best of the best part, but how does it boost confidence? Yeah, explain that. From the VIP section, guys were already shouting, eager to know more. Alright, no more teasing. I'll show you. The host grinned. He poked the white catwoman's waist with the fur-covered stick. Eep. As if on cue, the white catwoman made a suggestive sound, and goosebumps popped up all over her skin. Her legs instinctively clamped shut. She trembled slightly, like she was scared, and it took a moment for her to calm down, but her face and the tips of her ears stayed red. Oh! Some of the wealthier guys in the VIP section started howling. So, what do you think, everyone? Can this level of reaction boost your confidence? I won't touch her anymore to avoid wetting the carpet. Bidding starts at 30,000 gold soul coins. Minimum raise is 1,000, asterisk bang, asterisk. The host tapped his gavel. Let the bidding begin. Immediately, dozens of guests started shouting out bids. 35,000 gold soul coins. 38,000. 40,000 gold soul coins. Qiu closed his eyes. With that level of sensitivity, he could only imagine the torture these girls had endured. Disgusting. The girl next to him shot a look of contempt at the crowd. Yeah. They're a lost cause, her father sighed, shaking his head. That's the reality for the lower class. Brother, why are they all trying to buy those ladies? In Qiu's arms, Xiaolan looked around, blushing, and not really understanding. Before he could answer, the girl rolled her eyes and said with a smirk, because they like to spank girls. Huh. Xiaolan, new to the world, had no idea what that meant. You gotta be careful. If the bad guys catch you, they might sell you to them to get spanked. She made a fist and grinned mockingly at Xiaolan. Hearing this, Qiu's eyes flashed red with danger. Rongrong. The middle-aged man, realizing the joke went too far, frowned and gave her a warning look. Ah. I don't want that. Big brother will protect me. Xiaolan clung to Qiu, her eyes welling up at the thought of those guys ogling the catgirl sisters. Don't worry, I'll protect you, Qiu said, gently patting her back. He glared at the girl. His Sharingan activated, 3 tomo spinning in his eyes. He narrowed his gaze, his voice cold. I think you're disgusting. He cast a subtle illusion, a small warning. The girl's eyes widened. Ah! She screamed, nearly falling out of her seat. Rongrong. Are you alright? The middle-aged man looked at his daughter with concern. Ignoring her father, she ran behind her seat. Grandpa Jian. That guy's bullying me. Yeah, I saw it, a deep voice said, laced with anger. Qiu was shocked. Someone was behind him. He hadn't noticed a thing. Turning, he saw a silver-haired man in a white robe, tall and imposing. The man's eyes, previously half-closed, snapped open and locked onto Qiu. Sharp. Deadly sharp. He could feel an invisible sword energy radiating from those cold eyes. Click. Too late to react. Without warning, the mask on Yi Qiu's face was sliced perfectly in half and fell to the floor. Hiss. His eyes stung. He squeezed them shut, tears welling up. Yi Qiu lowered his head, covering his eyes. He'd just screwed up big time. Wait a minute. He'd overlooked something huge. Rongrong. Grandpa Jian, star. Yi Qiu's heart leaped. It was the 7-treasure glazed tile school. He was standing right next to Ning Rongrong, and sword Douluo Qinshin. Uncle Jian. Please, don't. The middle-aged man's words confirmed Yi Qiu's suspicions. End of this chapter. Chapter 57. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The second Yi Qiu's mask slipped off, Ning Rongrong got a good look at him and was a little surprised. Not bad looking. Bro, are you okay? Xiaolan dropped everything and anxiously hugged Yi Qiu's head, trying to get him to look up. I'm fine. Yi Qiu rubbed his eyes, looking up with bloodshot blue eyes. Uncle Jian, let it go. Ning Fengji held up a hand to stop Jian Douluo. Rongrong's words were a bit much. Fengji, I'm not blind or deaf. Rongrong was scared. He needed to learn a lesson. Jian Douluo adored Ning Rongrong and didn't want her to suffer, but he could still tell who was right. He decided to drop it. He turned to Ning Rongrong. Rongrong, you okay? Rongrong? Huh? Ning Rongrong snapped out of it, her face flushed. I'm fine. I just saw something scary. She gestured at the guy in front of her. You're all bad. You want to sell Xiaolan and bully my bro. Xiaolan hates you. Xiaolan clung to Yi Qiu like a koala, her legs wrapped around his waist as if protecting him. Yi Qiu was silent for a moment, thinking, she's still a kid. He patted her gently, loosening her grip. Don't worry, it's okay. Then, he addressed Sword Douluo and Ning Fengji. Seniors, don't worry. I just used a little illusion. It didn't hurt her. Humph. If it weren't for that, you'd be dead. Sword Douluo snorted, folding his arms. Thank you for your mercy, senior. Yi Qiu hadn't expected that the talkative girl was the little witch Ning Rongrong. That some serious trash-talking skills. With the situation calmed, they returned to normal, and the auction of the Catwoman twins concluded. Bang. The hammer fell, and the host's voice echoed through the venue. Congratulations to Earl Sadio. He's won this pair of Catwomen for 88 gold soul coins. Sadio. What a coincidence. Yi Qiu looked across the way, spotting a middle-aged man with a big belly and a fleshy face. As he watched, Yi Qiu's eyes watered again, and he blinked. Bro. Xiaolan will heal you. She gently blew warm air into his eyes. Okay. Yi Qiu nodded. He couldn't easily use his soul bone technique now. To avoid complications, Xiaolan gently covered his eyes, a yellow soul ring flickering. First soul skill, endless life. A shimmering green light appeared in her hand, and a surge of vitality entered his eyes. Soon, Yi Qiu felt back to normal. Ning Fengji and his daughter stared in their direction. Ning Fengji had gauged Yi Qiu's cultivation level from his soul power fluctuations, thinking him a genius. But this little girl was even more amazing. She probably had innate full soul power. Ning Rongrong glanced at Yi Qiu's profile, surprised by Xiaolan's spirit ring. She had only just obtained her second. I wonder which family they're from. If they were commoners, Ning Fengji would be trying to recruit them. The 7-treasure glazed tile school needs fresh blood. Next up, a soul bone. The host's voice brought Ning Fengji back to the auction. A scantily clad maid carried a brocade box behind the host and placed it on the table. Folks. This soul bone is a rare head bone from a 4,000-year-old emerald-eyed cloud-winged tiger. He opened the box, his face instantly green with reflected light, attracting every soul master's attention. After expert evaluation, it's been named the shocking skull of spiritual divergence. It has the power to attack and disrupt the enemy's mind. Enough said. You all know how rare soul bones are, especially head bones. Starting bid, 100 million gold soul coins, with minimum increments of 1 million, asterisk bang, asterisk let the bidding begin. 150 million, someone immediately added 50 million. The price was insane, but soul bones were irresistible. The price kept climbing, soon exceeding 200 million. In the VIP section, Xiaolan's eyes sparkled. Bro, how much food could I buy with 200 million? Hee hee. You greedy little thing. After the auction, I'll buy you whatever you want. He pinched and shook her nose. She glared at Yi Qiu, rubbing her nose. You hurt me. I won't heal you next time. So you were the one who sent it. You're young and talented. Ning Fengji overheard the conversation. Not really, just lucky. Yi Qiu replied with a smile, neither arrogant nor humble. He noticed Ning Rongrong looking away, flustered, but he didn't care. Some luck. Ning Fengji sighed, realizing Yi Qiu didn't want to say more. His hand hovered over the bidding button. 500 million. The host's voice boomed. Someone in the red VIP area bids 500 million gold soul coins. Any higher offers? He paused, waiting. 500 million was already a huge premium. People saw that Ning Fengji was bidding and that the price was too high. There was no point in driving up the price and offending the 7 treasure glazed tile school. 500 million going once. 500 million going twice. 500 million going 3 times, asterisk bang, asterisk sold. Congratulations to the VIP in the red zone for acquiring the head soul bone. Yi Qiu didn't react until he heard the hammer. Senior, that's pretty extravagant, isn't it? Hee hee. Soul bones are rare. I have to take care of it. Ning Fengji wouldn't let his daughter absorb it, but the 7 treasure glazed tile school was powerful, so it would be useful someday. Which family are you two from? Maybe I know your folks. We're just commoners. Yi Qiu understood his intentions and was direct about their background. I see. Ning Fengji was about to say something when Xiaolan interrupted. Bro. I want that. Huh? Yi Qiu looked where she was pointing. At the next auction item, a tray sat in front of the host's desk, a small brocade box with a black object inside. What is it? Yi Qiu looked at her, puzzled. I don't know, but I want it. She tapped her red lips and tilted her head. It was just a feeling. Okay, bro will buy it for you. Yi Qiu immediately agreed. Xiaolan's reaction was probably for a reason. Maybe it was a lucky opportunity. He had the money, anyway. Chapter 58. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wait, you want that seed, little brother? Ning Fengji's eyes narrowed, a hint of something unreadable in their depths. Yi Qiu's eyes flashed with surprise. Asterisk, so it really is a seed? I couldn't tell. He noticed Ning Fengji's odd expression. Is there something wrong with it? No problem, it's been kicking around the auction house for a month. Ning Fengji was a regular and remembered the item well. He just smiled, not elaborating. Maybe you'll get lucky. Haha. Here's hoping. Folks, this is our final item up for bid. The host's voice lacked its earlier enthusiasm. Grumbling rippled through the VIP seating. Some people even stood up to leave. Why are they dragging this thing out again? Trying to pull a fast one? Yeah. It's just a dud seed. Won't grow a thing. Hey. Didn't the price drop from 10,000 to 1,000 last time? What's the starting bid this time? Ha! The host visibly winced, embarrassed. This thing had been sitting unsold for way too long. If it didn't go this time, it was headed straight for the dusty back room. Apparently, they'd salvaged it from some old ruins, along with a bunch of other junk. They'd researched it to death, found nothing, and were now auctioning it off just to try and recoup some losses. Yi Qiu hadn't realized the seed was this unwanted. Picking it up might be tricky, but hey, at least it'd save him some gold soul coins. Ladies and gentlemen, the host continued, we admit we haven't been able to determine anything about this item. But, maybe it's just meant to be discovered by the right person? Yeah, right. Dream on. Didn't the last buyer return it? More shouting and complaints erupted. The host wisely shut his mouth. These were important people, rich and influential, and he was just a cog in the machine. Couldn't afford to make enemies, he hurried to get it over with, bang, starting bid, 1,000 gold soul coins. Let the auction begin. The atmosphere went ice cold. The host looked devastated, then, ding, suddenly, a bid flashed onto the panel, 1,000 gold soul coins. The host's face lit up. Without pausing for breath, he shouted, practically begging, 1,000 gold soul coins, going once. 1,000 gold soul coins, going twice. 1,000 gold soul coins, going 3 times, bang, before he'd even finished, the deal was done. Congratulations to the distinguished guest in the red area. You've won the lot. Finally, he'd unloaded the thing. He wiped sweat from his brow, the higher-ups could finally get off his back. Heh. Some sucker actually bought it, someone sneered. Heh, Qiu chuckled to himself, surprised at how easy it had been. Ugh. Spending money on garbage. Ning Rongrong's voice dripped with disdain. Qiu just smiled serenely. The auction was over. The host had vanished, and the crowd started filing out. Brother, let's go get the seed. Xiaolan, who was practically vibrating with excitement, urged. Seniors, I'll be heading out now. Qiu said his goodbyes to Ning Fengji and Sword Douluo. Hey! What about me? Ning Rongrong folded her arms, annoyed at being ignored. Brother, let's ditch the mean lady and go, Xiaolan said, grabbing Qiu's sleeve and tugging him toward the exit. You little brat. Rongrong. Ning Fengji cut her off, gesturing for her to be quiet, and turned his attention to the retreating siblings. Hold on, little brother, he called. Why don't you wait in the VIP room with me? What do you say? After a moment's hesitation, and a quick reassuring word to the impatient Xiaolan, Qiu agreed. All right. Thank you. Ning Fengji signaled a waiter and instructed them to have everything sent to the VIP room. Inside, a gold-plated chandelier hung from the ceiling, casting light on a plush carpet. There were a few animal skin sofas, and a high-quality rosewood coffee table in the center. Simple, yet luxurious. Sword Douluo stood with his arms crossed, leaning against the wall near the door. Xiaolan, already maskless, was bouncing on the sofa. When Ning Rongrong sat down, she scooted away nervously. Heh, Ning Rongrong said, covering her mouth. Am I that scary? She reached out playfully toward Xiaolan, clearly finding the girl's porcelain doll appearance endearing. The two of them began to tease each other, Xiaolan initially resisting, but after catching Qiu's eye, she reluctantly snuggled into Ning Rongrong's embrace. Meanwhile, Qiu and Ning Fengji were engaged in conversation. I don't believe I caught your name, little brother. Ning Fengji asked with a disarming smile. Short exchange. During their brief chat, Ning Fengji revealed his identity and extended an offer to Qiu. The terms were pretty enticing. Thank you, Sect Master Ning, for your kind offer, but I'm not looking for that sort of arrangement at the moment, Qiu said politely, careful not to burn any bridges. He found himself with a token engraved with the 7 treasures glazed tile pagoda. Brother! Xiaolan wailed, throwing herself into Qiu's arms, tears welling up in her eyes, cheeks flushed. That mean lady pinched me, and it hurt. Hey! You let me. Ning Rongrong protested immediately, seeing the disapproving looks from Qiu and Ning Fengji. Qiu looked at Xiaolan, curious. She lowered her head, as if ashamed, and mumbled, the mean lady said she had lots of yummy treats at home, and that she'd share them with me. Qiu sighed, shaking his head. Never thought she'd sell out for food. Ha! If the little one wants to visit the 7-treasure glazed tile school, she's welcome anytime. We'll treat you like royalty, Ning Fengji chuckled. He hadn't met such an amusing child in ages, much cuter than his own little hellion. That's right. Just let me squeeze your cheeks a few more times and I'll take you home right now. Ning Rongrong rubbed her hands together, a mischievous glint in her eyes. Xiaolan's skin was incredibly smooth, and she loved the girl scent. Xiaolan's eyes darted back and forth, torn. But, noticing Yi Qiu's serious expression, she shook her head, wincing. No, no. Brother will buy me Douluo. That it wasn't clear if she was hurting more physically or emotionally. After all that, she still couldn't help but swallow, thinking about whatever Ning Rongrong was offering. Brother, don't be mad, she said, hugging Yi Qiu tightly, rubbing her face against his. All right, you're getting tears all over me. I'll take you to see her sometime, he said, gently pulling her away. Sounds like a plan. Ning Fengji chimed in, solidifying the agreement. Knock knock, a knock at the door. Several women entered, carrying the items Yi Qiu had won on trays. Yi Qiu also received a savings card containing over 400 million gold soul coins. That 30% fee is a rip-off. He couldn't help but wonder about the people behind this auction house. Seeing the brocade box containing the pitch-black seeds, Xiaolan rushed over and clutched it to her chest, as if she'd completely forgotten about selling herself out for snacks. She grabbed Yi Qiu's hand, urging him to leave. Surprised by her sudden excitement, Yi Qiu bid farewell to the others. Sect Master Ning and Senior Sword Douluo. Ha! Ning Rongrong glanced at Yi Qiu, a warning in her eyes. Miss Ning, I'll be going now. Good. You're learning. Hearing Yi Qiu finally acknowledge her, she relaxed her expression. Little sister, remember to come play with me, Ning Fengji added, we'll be expecting you at the 7-treasure glazed tile school. Yi Qiu replied, if I have the chance, I'll definitely visit. For the 7-treasure glazed tile sect, who may become Tang San's ally in the future, Yi Qiu still needs to build a good relationship. Isn't it just a hidden weapon? As long as there are real objects, Yi Qiu can draw blueprints. End of this chapter. Chapter 59 Mysterious Seed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Yi Qiu left, Sword Douluo, who had been pretending to sleep, opened his eyes. Fengji, that kid's got something. Oh. Uncle Jian thinks so too. Ning Fengji picked up his water and took a sip. Pfft. He's just a great soul master. What's so special? Besides, he's not exactly a spring chicken. Ning Rongrong, who remembered Yi Qiu scolding her and ignoring her, wasn't a fan. Humph. At best, he's cute. She didn't know Yi Qiu was roughly her age, but the blue-silver emperor blood in her made her look a bit older. Haha. Rongrong, don't underestimate him. Even though he's only a great soul master, his mental power probably surpasses most soul sects, maybe even more. Really? Grandpa Jian wouldn't lie, would he? Rongrong, you've still got a lot to learn. Ning Fengji smiled slightly, pleased with his own insight. Meanwhile, Yi Qiu, having just taken Xiaolan outside, felt someone watching them. Frowning, a red-purple light flashed in his eyes as he scanned the area. Xiaolan, clutching the box in one hand and Yi Qiu's hand in the other, asked, Brother, what's wrong? Nothing, just a few little mice. Mice? Xiaolan looked around. I don't see any. Yi Qiu shook his head, picked her up, don't worry about them. Let's find a hotel, Sabuchu's men, huh? You wanna play? Then stick around, star. Giving the hidden corner another glance, Yi Qiu walked away. He found a decent hotel, costing 30 gold soul coins a day. Easy come, easy go. After checking in, Xiaolan immediately pulled out the black seed. So, what's this thing even for? Xiaolan doesn't know, but it feels really alive. Xiaolan held the seeds in her palm, staring at them with her bright blue eyes. She felt like the seed was calling to her. Swallowing hard, she put the seeds in her mouth and took a bite. Ow. That's hard. It almost broke my teeth. Rolling her eyes, she held out the saliva-covered seeds to Xiao. Why don't you try biting it, brother? Cut it out. He pushed away the seed with the moisture and spit. Xiao scratched his head, puzzled. If it's full of life, why doesn't it just grow? Maybe the seed needs help. Xiaolan mumbled, suddenly remembering her first soul skill. A faint vitality surged into her palm. Brother! Look! Xiaolan's shout made Xiao look over. The pitch-black seeds in her palm were now absorbing energy and floating into the air. The first soul skill. Endless life. With a soul ring appearing under her feet, Xiaolan poured more energy into it. In a moment, she'd used up most of her stored energy and her body was starting to fade. Brother, help me! Xiao understood and sent his soul power towards the blue-silver emperor mark on his chest. Later that night, a change happened in the quiet room. Click. Xiao activated his Sharingan and saw the black shell of the seed slowly cracking. A green light flashed from within the seed. Caw. Buzz. Before their eyes, the black shell turned to ash and floated away like blue smoke. The green seeds rose into the air, invisible ripples spread, and a soft, vibrant green light filled the room. It wasn't too bright, but Xiao felt a wave of warmth, like soaking up the sun. He even felt his soul power increase slightly. Xiaolan looked up, her eyes suddenly filled with reverence, and she froze. Xiaolan. Xiao noticed something was wrong. Her eyes were glazed over, and he couldn't pull her back. He couldn't even pull her back into his body. Her body floated up, and the green seed flew into her mouth. It went down her neck, through her chest, into her stomach, and vanished. What's going on? Xiao was shocked as a surge of soul power burst from the blue-silver emperor mark on his chest, instantly pushing his soul power to level 23. Xiaolan. She grew again. In the air, Xiaolan's body grew, turning from 6 to 8 years old. The blue-silver emperor appeared behind her, and the first yellow soul ring formed under her feet, followed by another one that changed from white to yellow, with a hint of green. Xiao was floored. 10 levels in an instant. As he moved forward, Xiaolan opened her eyes. Her demeanor changed, like a goddess, with holiness and majesty. Her azure eyes glowed green, coated with a faint gold. They settled on Xiao, with gentleness mixed with scrutiny, and nobility tinged with surprise. Is this Xiaolan? What happened? An irresistible pressure emanated from her eyes, freezing Xiao in place. Thankfully, it didn't last long. In a moment, the gold light was gone. Xiaolan was back to normal. The special light faded, and she landed gently, leaving a leaf-like mark on her forehead that disappeared. Brother. Back to her normal self, she ran to Xiao, eager to share her excitement. Thump. Ouch. Xiao fell to the ground. Brother, what's wrong? She tried to pull him up. Ouch. I'm okay. Just slipped. The pain in his back made him wince. Sitting on the edge of the bed, Xiao looked at the taller Xiaolan, a little worried. He grabbed her chin and squeezed her cheeks, peering into her mouth as if looking for the green seed. You feeling okay? MMPTH. He was pinching her mouth, so she couldn't speak. Slap. She smacked his hand away and wiped the saliva from the corner of her mouth. Brother, what are you doing? I'm fine. And I got an awesome new ability. She jumped onto the bed and spun around. Are you sure you're okay? What was that seed? Xiao frowned. Xiaolan had felt like someone else a moment ago. I don't know, but I'm really fine. Kneeling on the bed, she hugged him from behind, resting her head on his shoulder. Brother, aren't you curious about my second soul skill? Xiaolan breathed on Xiao's face. A burst of fragrance filled his nose, clearing his mind. What's going on here? Xiao turned around, noses almost touching. Xiao was rarely flustered, but the refreshing feeling was overwhelming. Xiao didn't blush, but Xiaolan's face turned rosy. It's my second soul skill, Lanine Fragrance. It can detoxify and remove negative effects. And it can also be a body fragrance. She hugged Yi Qiu tightly, and her second soul ring glowed, releasing a rich fragrance. Well. Am I amazing? Heh. She touched her forehead to Yi Qiu's. Improving her strength meant she could take some of the burden off Yi Qiu. That's what made her happiest. Yeah. Yi Qiu nodded. You're very powerful, asterisk, and it smells great. What the heck was that seed, asterisk? Chapter 60 The Seed of Life. You are listening at novelfull.audio. But even though this soul skill's pretty cool, it ain't exactly earth-shattering, right? Yi Qiu remembered Xiaolan saying she'd gotten a major ability. Guess Xiaolan did have something up her sleeve. Xiaolan seemed pleased with herself. Alright, show it off then. Xiaolan hugged Yi Qiu tighter, looking a little nervous. Yi Qiu glanced at her. Her eyes snapped shut, and her cheeks flushed. Her lips parted slightly, like she was reciting some kind of spell. When she opened her eyes, she leaned in close to Yi Qiu, and a green light appeared in her mouth. The seed? Yi Qiu wondered, but Xiaolan was already making her move, cool, soft, and sweet-smelling. That was Yi Qiu's first impression. Both of them, with their blue hair and eyes, had rosy cheeks. Xiaolan's eyelashes fluttered as she slowly closed her eyes, avoiding his gaze. Yi Qiu's pupils widened. The seed seemed to be transferring from her mouth to his. He gently pushed Xiaolan away and sat up. Xiaolan, what was that about? That he swallowed the green light. It turned into a warm current that spread through his body, gathering in his heart. His heartbeat even felt stronger. Clutching his throat, Yi Qiu wanted to spit it out. Don't freak out, bro. That was made by Xiaolan, Xiaolan mumbled, kneeling on the bed, avoiding his eyes. Her blush spread from her face down to her neck. That's your new ability? Yi Qiu was shocked, pointing to his mouth. This is it? Not exactly. Xiaolan covered her face and buried herself in the quilt, too embarrassed to talk. Yi Qiu fell silent. Brother. Xiaolan's voice suddenly echoed in his head. Yi Qiu frowned, looking at Xiaolan lying on the bed. She wasn't moving her lips. Xiaolan's talking to you in your head. In my head. He lifted his shirt. The blue-silver emperor mark on his chest was glowing. Now, all you gotta do is think what you want to say to Xiaolan, and she'll hear it. Xiaolan, who had been hiding in the covers, peeked out. Her cheeks were still flushed, but her mouth wasn't moving at all. Yi Qiu's heart sank. What's going on? That the blue-silver emperor mark on his chest kept flashing. After a long time, Yi Qiu finally understood what Xiaolan meant by her amazing ability, Seed of Life. A special ability she'd gained, a seed made by combining a bit of her spiritual power, soul power, and vitality. This seed could act as Xiaolan's proxy within Yi Qiu's body. Even if she wasn't around, he could still use her soul skills. Plus, Xiaolan's chances of survival had gone up again. If her soul was ever destroyed, she could be brought back to life using the Seed of Life. As long as Yi Qiu lived, she could hardly die. So that's the new ability you were talking about. Yi Qiu grinned at her. Pretty awesome, huh? Xiaolan's blushing face broke into a smile. It's powerful, alright, but what you did just now. Yi Qiu pointed at himself, looking at her strangely. Oh. That's because the Seed of Life, can't be exposed to light. Xiaolan's face turned redder, and she stammered. Then she regained her confidence. Yeah. It just can't be in the light. Really? Of course. Would Xiaolan ever lie? Seeing her forced smile, Yi Qiu frowned. He had a feeling she wasn't telling the truth, but he couldn't prove it. He stood there, staring at her. Alright. Hearing Yi Qiu's acceptance, Xiaolan breathed a sigh of relief. After figuring things out, Yi Qiu decided to try out Xiaolan's soul skills. He held out his hands, looking at them, and thought about how happy he was with Xiaolan's progress. This seed of life is like a complete resurrection card for Xiaolan. Seriously powerful. In his palm, a beautiful golden blue-silver grass suddenly appeared, and 2 yellow soul rings rose around his feet. Second soul skill, blue-silver fragrance. As he said the words, the second ring lit up, a faint, almost invisible mist seemed to pour out of Yi Qiu's body, spreading around him. The closer you were, the stronger the smell, and the better the detoxification and healing effects. Awesome! Yi Qiu grinned, smelling the fragrance coming off him. Brother! Xiaolan squealed and jumped into his arms, wrapping her legs around his waist and her arms around his neck. She gently sniffed his neck. Wow, you smell so good now. Hey! That tickles. Quit it. Yi Qiu tilted his head back as far as he could. If you don't hold me, I'll fall. She took Yi Qiu's hands and put them on her waist. She didn't seem to care about Yi Qiu's feelings. So. From now on, Xiaolan can fight with you. She raised her fist, looking serious and a little fierce. Yi Qiu awkwardly put his arms around her waist. What are you gonna fight with? You're all support skills. Come on down. Nope. Why can't I hug my brother? Xiaolan pouted, unconvinced. Humph. Not now, but I'll have offensive soul skills someday. Makes sense. After a couple of chuckles, Yi Qiu gave up trying to get her down. He changed the subject. I'm gonna take a shower, though. You should get down first. That he unwrapped her and set her on the bed, watching Yi Qiu's back. Xiaolan covered her face and rolled around on the bed. Finally got to kiss him again. That a strange green light flickered on her forehead, between her eyebrows, contrasting with her flushed face. When Yi Qiu came out, she ran right into his arms, grinning. Hee, how about Xiaolan sleeping with you? Yi Qiu, fresh out of the shower, almost broke out in a sweat. Why did Xiaolan's words sound so suggestive? He put his arm around her and tucked her into the bed. Just be good and go to sleep. I'm gonna meditate for a bit. Ignoring her somewhat forward request, he sat down on his own, cross-legged, focusing on building up his improved soul power. But even after Yi Qiu started meditating, she still wasn't asleep. As soon as she lay down, Xiaolan snuggled up to him, forcing herself into his arms. She inhaled the fragrance coming from his skin. Hey! Could you sleep and turn off your second soul skill? Xiaolan's not using the second soul skill. This is just me. Her hot face pressed against his cheek, leaving a cool and moist sensation. Good night. Hee moi. Xiaolan. Come on. I just washed my face. In the next few days, Yi Qiu took Xiaolan out to eat and have fun in Tiando City. The spies just watched them, never making a move. Taking advantage of the time, Yi Qiu used the diagrams for the Zhuge repeating crossbow he'd gotten earlier, assembled it in a blacksmith's shop, and bought some daggers similar to kunai along the way. The Zhuge repeating crossbow packed a punch, and could be used against slow, undefended soul masters. Xiaolan. After this meal, rest up today. Tomorrow, we're heading to the Sunset Forest. Got it. Okay. Eat slowly. The two were in a restaurant. Xiaolan was scarfing down her food, and Yi Qiu was gently patting her on the back. End of this chapter.